Today, I want to talk about a question that has been coming up a lot in the comments ever since Trump won re-election. That question has a lot of variations, but it can be best summed up as, should we be afraid of Donald Trump? This question is connected to the fact that many of us on this channel believe that Trump is, or could be, the final Antichrist as described in the Bible. And logically, it would make sense that the final Antichrist wouldn't want people talking about how he might be the final Antichrist. Thus, some of us are nervous about whether comments we made about Trump or about MAGA will come back to haunt us in some way. After all, Trump is a very petty man, so we do have to wonder just how far his pettiness will go. So here are 4 quick points I want to make on this subject. Number 1, Trump has much bigger targets in mind than any of us commenting about him on YouTube or other social media. The people that he intends to go after are those he has already publicly attacked, such as Liz Cheney, Jack Smith, and the like. We also have to remember that there are tens of millions of Americans who are constantly speaking out against Trump all across social media. So the very few of us who talk about Trump being the Antichrist is the proverbial drop in the bucket by comparison. So the idea that the Trump administration will now start coming against all those who speak negatively about him is a little overblown, at least in the short term. His focus will be on those who have publicly come out against him, either politically or legally. Having said that, there is something that we should be prepared for. Number 2, Christian Trump supporters will be emboldened to lash out against those who claim he is the Antichrist. They have already demonstrated a supernatural allegiance to this man, and his winning re-election will only strengthen their loyalty to him. In the past few years, we have seen how, in many cases, they have chosen Trump even over their own family, friends, and loved ones. It is these hardcore Trump supporters, who also profess to be Christian, that will be the most upset with those of us claiming he is the Antichrist. Because of that, some of these people feel that defending the man they believe was chosen by God is equivalent to serving God. We're not quite at the point of John 16:2 being fulfilled, but we are getting closer to that day. Number 3, one big change that is likely to happen in 2025 is the repeal of Section 230 of the Communications Act of 1934. This law shields social media companies from liability for content their users post and is widely credited with contributing to the success of the Internet. Trump wants Section 230 repealed, and if it is, it would directly impact content creators the most, as a social media company such as YouTube could easily decide to delete a channel rather than risk any liability for their content. When it comes to comments, YouTube might simply use additional algorithms to clamp down on any commentary that might open them up to potentially being sued. Of course, they're already removing a number of comments, so this wouldn't be a giant step for them to take. Still, the success of a social media company like YouTube largely depends on the comments and interactions of its viewers on a video. So rather than removing channels, one workaround could be that content creators have to assume personal liability for their videos. This would enable YouTube to remain above the fray, so to speak, as they would simply require that the channel owners legally agree to accept personal liability for their content, although obviously this would have a chilling effect on free speech. Fourth, and most importantly, as scary as 2025 can seem, we must remember that God will be with us. There is nothing that can happen that will separate us from God. After all, if God is for us, who can be against us?